Hello everyone, I have 18 pineapples before you. What I'm planning on doing is processing all of them. I'm planning on cutting them. Here's actual pineapple rind. I have it inside of my canner. It's a little bit more than half full. I've also decided that normally I eat these, but I'm going to go ahead and put this with the rind as well so I can be able to get more flavor. All this juice that I have left on my cutting board, that's going to go with the rind. That's flavor right there, so I'm going to go in and scoop that and put that inside of my water bath with the rest of the skin of the pineapple so I can be able to have that as well. Now out of all of, this is an accumulation of 14 of the pineapples that I had. Remember I had gotten a total of 18 and I have 4 left, so that gives me 14 of them that are actually in here. And this is a water bath canner, just to give you the size of it. This is a water canner and it is totally basically full. Now if you don't have enough time to be able to do these rinds right away, go ahead and put them in a bag and freeze them so that you can be able to do it later. You don't want to just leave them out. So what I'm going to do is I want to hurry up and make it. So I'm going to wash this off. Around 3 times. I'm going to go ahead and wash it off, and then I'm going to soak it in I'm going to go ahead and soak it inside of my vinegar solution / peroxide solution. To know how to do that, go ahead and you can check up my other video. I say how to do that. What you're going to do then is just wash it around 3 times. After you wash it, soak it in the peroxide vinegar solution, rinse, soak it in there for 30 to 60 seconds, and then after that, then wash it off. And then after I wash it off, then what I'm going to do is cover this, because it's thin clean, and all the stuff that I left on here, because like look at that, there's still a lot of stuff on here, but I was trying to do it quick because sometimes you're just in a rush and I want to get all this liquid out of it, and this is my way of being able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up the water, and I'm not going to keep it in this right here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my 930 All-American pressure canner, and I'm just going to let it sit in there and soak up the water and bring my juice. So let's go ahead and get started. I went ahead and changed my mind. I'm just going to rinse it one time. I don't want to get rid of too much of the juices in it. I'm going to rinse it one time, and then I'm going to soak it in my peroxide solution to get the stuff off of it, and that'll get the bacteria off. Well, I say bacteria, but you know what I mean, the stuff they put, the pesticides or anything else that they shouldn't have put on my fruit, and get it off. So just a quick recap. I went ahead and washed my rinds. After I washed them, I soaked them inside of my vinegar and peroxide solution. Now keep in mind, you can definitely omit that. You can just wash it off or wash them real good. We either wash them 1 to 3 times, and then you're going to put it inside of boiling water just until, kind of like where my water is getting, where it's just covered. And we're going to get to that step. But you can totally omit the peroxide / vinegar if you don't want to. I just am taking the extra step because I know they put different stuff inside of here. They spray different things, and I don't have any. I don't buy organic. If you can, it's great, but organic's just too expensive. I can't afford to buy organic. So I just go the extra mile to do that. But if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. Everything will definitely be okay because you're cooking it till it reaches a boiling point, and then you're gonna shut it off, and then you're gonna just let it sit and set it aside for basically 24 hours, and then you're gonna have pineapple juice. But we'll get to that. But here's where we're at. So I'm gonna go ahead and strain this out. I'm washing it. I just finished soaking it in the solution, so I've washed it 3 times after I've soaked it in the solution to get all that stuff off. And now I'm going to go ahead and put it inside of my pressure cooker, my pressure canner. Okay, you want to take it where it's just covered. If you put more water in it, the only thing you're doing is diluting more of your water. So I actually could take some of this water out of it, and I think I just might. Because the whole point, I want to not add any sweetener to it, so I want it to be pineapple water. I want to be able to drink it just as it is and give some to my family and see what they think about it. But I'm gonna wait till it comes to a boil, and when it does come to a boil, I will be back. Alright, I took some of the water out. The reason why I want to definitely just make sure that it's covered so that we can be soaking it, but I don't want to put too much water into it because, like I was saying, I want to be able to have it strong tasting, where I don't want to have to add sugar to it. I can always add water to it after it's done. After it's done sitting for the 24 hours, I can always add water. So, but if I add too much water now, I'm going to have to add something else to it. So again, basically, if I add more water to it now, what'll end up happening if I put too much in is it's going to make it so it's not as concentrated. It's not going to be as sweet. So I want to make it as sweet as possible, the least amount of water that I can put into it, just so that it's at least covered. Because at the end, I can always add more water to it. But if I add too much water, then I'm going to have to add more sugar, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm going to wait till it comes to a boil, and I will be back. Okay, now it's boiling. Now that it's boiling, let me move my camera off a little bit because it'll fog up. Okay, now that it's to a boil, what I'm going to do is cut off the stove. Oops. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the stove, move it off the burner, and put the lid on it, and I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours. Now also keep in mind that there's other stuff you can be able to do to it. You could put ginger in it. I've read somehow people put ginger inside of theirs. They put cinnamon. Just different things. You can play with it, and basically, you know, as a cook, you can do whatever you want to do with it. So as I said, cinnamon. After it's done, you can put sugar in it. You can put honey in it, agave. Just experiment and see how it is that you would like to be able to have it. So again, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on it, and I'm going to let it sit for, I think I'm going to let it sit for around 8 hours. Another thing you could be able to do too, if you wanted to, it's basically done. But it's definitely probably not as sweet as you want it to be. Definitely let it sit for like maybe 20 minutes, but the longer you let it sit, the better. And this is where it's going to be able to get sweeter and whatnot. So, I forgot to tune in after 8 hours, but it's been 24 hours, and this is what it looks like. I just put my nose to it. It smells like pineapple. What it kind of smells like, as far as I can smell, kind of like as if you had real pineapple juice, put ice cubes in it, and it was really, really good, but you kind of forgot about it, and the ice cubes melted into it. So it tastes, I guess the word is real, or not taste, but it smells diluted. So you could easily be able to just add some sugar into it, and it'll taste good. Add some sugar and some ice or agave or honey, or you can just drink it like this by itself. It's pineapple water. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to strain the pineapples out of it, and I'm going to discard it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it through my cone strainer. To be able to get all the little bits and pieces, and not just use my cone strainer, I'm also going to put a nut bag on it. So I'll tune in, set that up, go ahead and discard this, and we'll be right back.